Hi Facebook, it's Lexi here. How are you? Happy Monday. It is 1 degree here in Alberta, Canada. I think we might have spring this week for a couple of days, then it's supposed to snow again. I've got a special guest coming on today. By the way, welcome to my kitchen. That's my kitchen behind me. I just got to walk over here just for a moment. Happy Monday. What's fear got to do with your life? What's fear got to do with your life anyways? You know what? A lot. More than you think. All right, so I've got a special guest coming on and I'm going to talk to her and ask her some questions about fear. And you're welcome to chime in and give me your answers as well. So, what has fear got to do with your life? Okay, I'm going to bring my special guest on, and a second. And she is from the corporate world. She's done a lot of project management, and her biggest hey. Hi, Bree.
Hello, hello. Hi,
How are
Lexi.
you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Good now.
We're getting this worked out.
Yes and no. I was hoping we could broadcast from my page today, and that didn't work. So here we are on the timeline. So I'm glad you made it on. I'm glad we're here together.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Hey, Val. Hey, Allison. How are you guys doing today?
Awesome. Yeah, so happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday, Bree.
Thank you. I am so
You're
excited.
welcome.
Monday is fantastic.
Good, awesome. So, talking about fear today. How has fear changed your life is basically the topic, but I wanted to ask you some questions, Bree, about that. Would that be okay?
That sounds great.
Awesome. By the way, everybody, I don't know if I said Bree's full name. This is Bree Prouse, and she's from Alberta as well. And her passion is health and wellness.
It is.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, okay, Bree. So, the biggest thing that stands out in my mind when I think about fear in your daily life is the acronym. The acronym FEAR. It escaped me. Right. Okay. False evidence appearing real.
Yep.
Yeah. So, having said that, how has a fear affected your daily life in the past, Bree?
Oh, goodness. I used to completely live in fear. I think my life was 24/7 fear. And I think a lot of people's lives are 24/7 fear. And I think what we don't understand about fear is way more than what we do. In my life, fear has stopped me from a ton of things that I would normally have done or that I thought I should do. And I couldn't do them. The fear was just there. One really good example is live videos. When we started videos 2 years ago, Lex, I mean, I was terrified. It was the hardest thing that I could do. I still have issues every day with fear. I live with it. Fear is something that it doesn't go away. Everybody thinks that one day they'll get past the fear and it will go away. Fear doesn't go away. I want everybody to know fear is there every day. Every day you have some sort of fear around something. Doesn't matter what it is. Going to the car worried you're going to slip on you're worried you're going to slip on the ice. Going to the grocery store worried somebody's going to say something to you about something. We all have these weird little fears in our heads, and everybody has different fears. But mine was definitely videos. I have quite a few more. There's a list I could give you, but you don't have time for that today. So one of the things that I did during that, like in the last 2 years, is I've been doing a lot of personal development and working on myself. And I look at that false expectations appearing real every day. I look at that, and when I'm in a state of fear, which is often, I really want people to know it doesn't just go away. It doesn't just disappear. Every time you have a new task, especially in business, or even at home or for weight loss, oh my goodness, there are so many tasks that you are like, oh, I don't want to do this. Every time you have a new task, fear pops up. So what do you do? What do you do when fear pops up? Because it's there, it's real. It's not, everybody can say, don't be afraid of spiders. If you're still afraid of afraid of spiders, they can say don't be afraid of spiders all they like, but you're still going to be afraid of spiders. It's not that your fear goes away. It's more, what are you going to do anyways? What can you bring yourself to do anyways? So with live videos, I was pretty fearful. So what did I do? I did videos on my computer. I did videos on my computer. They weren't live. I couldn't do live. I was like, oh, I'm not doing live. What if somebody says something and I read it and it throws me right off? What if? I mean, all these false expectations appearing real, these what ifs, these should haves, these what do I do when this happens? So fear doesn't disappear. I want everybody to know that. It doesn't go away. You have to make choices around fear. And that's what I've learned to do, is to make choices around fear. So when something comes up and I have a task list of, let's say, 3 things that I have to do, and I'm really afraid of one of them or 2 of them, I go, okay, I am afraid of that right now, but I'm not afraid of this. So what if I just do this, build up a little bit of confidence because I did something, and then I look at this again. I don't have to actually do it, but I have to look at it again. And when I
Okay, viewers, we've paused. I think we've lost Bree. Just on. Nope, and she's gone. So that's all right. I am just going to chat and see if we can get Bree back on. She has trouble with her internet connection, so it might have wobbled a little bit. For me,
there we go. I'm sorry.
it's okay. I was just telling my audience that, our audience, that you do have a weak connection at times. So I'm hoping that you'd be able to come back on. And sure enough, here you are.
I know. I'm in a very small town that has probably the worst internet I've ever worked with in my life. So unfortunately, I do drop a lot, and yet I still make it through. And I fear that too. So anyway, so what I was saying was, I pick a task that is less fearful for me to start with, because when you do that one thing, now you have more confidence, now you have more momentum, now you're able to sort of go and take a look at the next thing, the thing that gives you the bigger fear. And so that is how I personally work around my fears. Somebody said to me this morning that we have fear every single day, all day, and that the successful people are the people who conquer their fear only 51% of the time. So they're still in fear 49% of that time. They're successful because they conquer it 51% of the time. That 2% is what pushes you forward and gives you momentum. I loved that when I heard that this morning. I think I've heard that before, but it really sort of went into my head this morning, and I thought, what a fantastic example.
It is. I love that 2%.
Right? And what
so you may have
about?
answered.
Sorry?
That's okay. You may have answered part of this question, but I'm going to ask you anyway, Bree. See if you have any more comments about it. So now that you're more aware of fear, and you gave us that great explanation and gave us so much awareness about fear, how has fear changed your life? Let's focus on the positive ways it's changed your life today.
The positive ways. Well, what I have learned is to do it that 51% of the time. I mean, I'm working on that. I shouldn't say I've accomplished that yet. I am working on doing it the 51% of the time, conquering my fear. I think also when you become more aware of your fear and that it is a fear, because when you start to avoid something, or you stop doing something, or you drop something out of your life, why did you drop that? Was it not working for you anymore, which is awesome? Then good, get that out of your life and move on. Or was it something that you were afraid of and you just didn't know how to approach it in a way that made you feel comfortable? So there's a lot of that going on. And I think once you're more aware of fear, you can take a look at it and go, okay, yeah, the reason why I'm afraid of this is, I'm afraid of speaking on camera. I'm afraid, everybody's going to judge me for my red face. I'm afraid that people won't like the way my voice sounds. I'm afraid they don't like my hair. I'm afraid, you have a lot of fears. So when you become aware of those, do I care if anybody doesn't really like my hair? Probably not. I mean, overall, I like my hair. So If anybody else doesn't, does that really bother me? So is that something that should hold me back? So I have to take a look at it. You have to be a little more introspective. You have to take a look at things. And yet you're going to have other stuff that you're still afraid of. And if you're still afraid of it, take a look at it. Understand the fear. I think when you understand the fear, it gives you the option of making the choice of conquering it or deciding you're going to wait for another time. That fear is too big. Like if you're not really, good with heights, skydiving may not be your first choice of conquering your fear things. But for other people, right? But for other people, that's the only way that they will conquer their fear is they have to go full force into it. So it just depends on your situation, how you react, how you are able to be self-aware in fear, and how you're able to push through it, because fear stops us from doing so much in life. It has stopped me from doing so many things in the past that, I know would have been amazing at that time in my life, but I couldn't do it and I wasn't ready. So I have to forgive myself, learn to deal with the fear and move on. And remember, it's there for everybody 24/7. You just have to conquer it 51% of the time.
Very good points. Very good information, Bree. Oh, I almost dropped my water there. For me, fear is quitting smoking. I am successful on day 7 today. Today is day 7.
Woohoo!
I have quit. Yes, I have attempted quitting many times. However, the first thing that comes up in me is this, my body just kind of goes like,
Lunches?
just kind of cringe. Just kind of cringe in fear. Oh no, I'm losing my best friend. So I had to walk through that fear. And I think I dug deep and got 80% more than the 51. Because I really had to dig deep this time to get to day 7. And non-smokers probably really don't get that, but day 7 is astounding. Day 7 is a big win for me. Day 7 is I'm holding up my trophy and I'm putting my crown on my head because I've come this far.
Absolutely.
It's a big, big win. And to walk through that fear was incredible. I did have help. I was listening to an audio, and basically it took away all the disbeliefs, all the illusions, all the false brainwashing. So all that false brainwashing and illusions gave me the fear of letting it go.
Right.
That's powerful stuff.
Very powerful.
And I think that goes beyond, yes. And I think that goes not just smoking, but beyond that. But as smokers struggle with that. Whether you smoke a pipe, a cigar, pot, I don't care what you smoke. If you want to be done with it and never smoke again, it's fearful. When somebody says to you, you better quit, the first thing you feel is fear. You just tense up and just, no, that's my best friend. I'm too afraid. Can't do that. So I've released and I've got help. I can't do this by myself because it is too fearful.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, and I've got rid of the illusions, the BS, the crap that's not true. And I've realized that it was never my best friend. And it's something that you hate and love at the same time. If you hated an ex-boyfriend and he physically and verbally abused you, and you kicked him out, you finally got him out of your house, would you go have coffee with him and invite him over again? Probably not. You're too afraid of him.
Yeah.
You'd be crazy, right, to do that. Now that's a whole different subject. I mean, we could go into that topic all by itself, but we're not going to, but that's just an example. And so I've learned now that on day 7, I've got this far and I'm not afraid anymore. I'm more afraid of going back to it and having health issues and scary things happen as I go forward. I know I'm much healthier this way, so I've released the fear and I embrace being a non-smoker, and I'm really happy. But I gotta say that fear was a great, great big part of this whole equation for me. And I think it is for a lot of smokers. So for you smokers out there watching, I hope that helps. If you're not a smoker, don't start.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so having said all that, I got a little windy with that, but let's move forward and kind of move towards wrapping this up, I think, Bree, if that's okay with you. What would you say for viewers that it would be people's first steps on reducing or eliminating fear? Let's just take business, for example, instead
I
of the
think
personal life. Something in business along those, the answer for that question.
I think that when it comes to your task list, I think when you're involved in business, there's a lot of people things that you need to do. There's relationships that you need to build. There's just being with people, and if that is a fear for you, you need to work out how you're able to do that for yourself. So a lot of people say just go through the fear and do what we tell you to do. That's not always the way it should be in business. I think you need to find your own path. I think, yes, you don't want to reinvent the wheel, but by the same token, sometimes baby steps towards a fear, at least for me in my experience, baby steps towards a fear, doing something every day that's getting you towards overcoming that fear, for me, that has really been an amazing help in business. So I would suggest trying to think of things when you do have a fear that's going on. Think of how you can approach it a different way, a way that's less fearful. Sometimes people want, ask you to go way outside of your comfort zone. So we can't always just jump there right away. But can we build up our comfort zone? Can we change that over time? Absolutely. Are there little things that we can do each day? So it's really, for me, fear is about becoming aware that it is a fear. If it's something I'm avoiding, I'm probably afraid of it. There's probably something about it that I don't want to do. So why don't I want to do it? Usually fear. So I want to become aware of that. Step one, become aware. Step two, look at what your fear is and decide if it's something that you can approach. Like you've always thought you had to quit smoking this way. This was how you had to do it. Now, if you're, say you're wanting to quit smoking, is there 500 other different theories on how you could quit smoking? Absolutely. You thought in your brain it had to be done this way. And in the end, you might find a completely different way that stops your fear, like you did. It helps with your fear, brings it down a little. And then you're able to take the next step. You were able to see yourself becoming a non-smoker. These are things that also visualization is huge, but we don't have time for that today at all. But visualization of seeing yourself doing the things that you are afraid of absolutely helps, because it allows your mind to go, oh, okay, I could do that. I could. I can see it, so I could do it. I don't know if I want to, but that's where you make those changes, those small everyday steps. They guide you towards something, especially if it's something you have to do to be successful or to make your life or to do whatever. Take steps. Baby steps sometimes can create the biggest movement for change in your life. So I always suggest baby steps, being aware, and visualization.
Awesome tips. Baby steps, being aware, and visualization. Excellent, Bree. Thank you. And I'm just going to add to your little recipe there, which is astounding, that for me, with business, doing the go lives, I broke it down, like you said, baby steps. I chunked it right down. Okay, so first of all, my first go live doesn't have to, my first 10 go lives don't have to be perfect. Quit going for perfection, Lexi, and go for action. Take action. It doesn't have to be 5 minutes, it can be 1 minute. So that's two things right there. It doesn't have to be perfect, it can be 1 minute. It doesn't have to be every day when you first start. It can be once a week, twice a week. It can be talking about whatever you're passionate about, something that comes easy, something you don't have to go out and learn necessarily. So those are steps that helped me as well. So I think, viewers, if you take the recipe Bree had and the recipe I have, and blend them together, gel them together, I think that you could have very successful go live if you're concerned about doing go lives in your business. And I know if you have a business, doing go lives is essential. It's something you need to do on Facebook. You can't get around it. It's what running a successful business. It's how people get to know you. Very good point. Absolutely, Bree. So I see we have some new viewers. Hey, Carl. Hey, Tracy. How are you? So I forgot to mention this in the beginning. This is very important information, especially for people just starting out on Facebook or just starting out as an entrepreneur. Please do like, comment, and very important to share this video out. There are people out there waiting to hear this message that don't know this stuff, that need to hear this stuff so their business can change, so they can be successful in their business. And we all want everybody to be successful in their businesses. There's a big enough piece of the pie for everybody. So folks, please do share this video out. We go right into detail about a lot of depth about fear and how you can manage it and how you can reduce and eliminate it. And it's some very powerful stuff that Bree shared with us today. So thank you so much, Bree. I really appreciate your time today.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome, and I'll see you again soon.
That's right. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.